motherfuckers think that just because a guy reads comics he can't start some shit? I'll fucking take all you want!
No violence. You're heavy.
Home again, home again.
You betray the law!
Class is Pain 101.
This one's for you!
I guess one person can make a difference.
Oh! Welcome to the panel cast. I am the Wolfman, baby. Ow! Does anybody get what I'm doing? That's Wolfman Jack. He was a radio DJ like a million years ago. That's what I am now, because it's Halloween. I'm a Wolfman. I'm just like Wolfman Jack. Only I'm not quite as powerful as Wolfman Jack. I'm a wolf boy. I'm a Wolfman in training. Though I do share his lupinous condition. That's a lupinous condition, not a lupus condition. It's not lupus. It's never lupus. It is, in fact, lupinous in origin. The curse of the lichen flows through my blood. Every Wednesday when the comics are released, I transform into a comic-devouring wolf boy, ready to run out into the streets and read comics and scare people. I'm not quite as good at howling as the original Wolfman, though I do suffer from Lycanicticus. I also suffer from a rare and debilitating form of Scyphilophagus that makes me unable to howl with the same level of strength and force and power and gusto as the Wolfman, so I can only manage to croak out a barely audible Oh, God, what am I talking about? Welcome to Panelcast, true believers. I am your host, Endlet G. I'm just stealing that true believers catchphrase from Stan Lee completely. I'm 100% ripping that off. I can do that. That's within my rights as the most important person who ever lived. I have sole dominion over the legal right to rip off, steal, and appropriate any catchphrases or turns of phrase spoken or uttered by anyone who has ever lived. Like an Absorbaloff, absorbing the most powerful traits of all great men. Because I am them. I am everyone and everything. That's why I am the Endless Boy. Bitch. I don't think Stan Lee will mind if I drop an Excelsior every now and then, or if I open my podcast with a true believers, if I so choose. He doesn't mind. Me and him are tight. We go way back. In fact, me and him had a running contest in the 80s to see who could get the most girls. Last I checked, I was way ahead. Besides, that dude's like 500 years old. He'll probably turn to dust or go back to his home planet at some point pretty soon, and then where will his essence go, if not to me? I'm like Shang Tsung. As long as someone is dead, I have the power to harness and appropriate their essence, their visage, their form, to disorient my opponents in combat. In the combat of the mortals. What the fuck is happening? This is already week 2 of the panel cast, and it's already just a complete train wreck, spiraling down the drain. It's already turning into a... Oh, boy. God damn it, I'm the motherfucking Wolfman! Oh! Okay, let's talk about comics, people. That's what this podcast is about. That's what life is about. It's the only thing that truly matters, the only thing that brings me any real sense of peace and tranquility in this rotten, miserable hellhole of a planet. It's the only thing I trust anymore, because comics are the only safe activity left for a psychotic man like myself, okay? I've been eagerly anticipating sitting down here and recording another panel cast for everybody this week, because reading comics is the only time I feel safe anymore. It's the only safe activity left. Going outside is not safe. It's not safe out there for a man like me. Chaos follows me. Conflict follows me. Everywhere I go, I just want to live in peace. But nobody wants to let me. Everybody wants to fuck with me. Everybody wants to take shots at the champ. So everywhere I go, I end up in some fight, or some huge brawl, or someone fucks with me, or I become the center of some swirling tornado of chaos and violence. Happens to me every single time I go out, people. Happened to me just the other day, in fact. I went to a party, and of course I ended up at the center of a huge fucking brawl because everyone has to fuck with me, everybody has to start shit, and nobody expects that the guy they're fucking with is gonna fuck with them right back. Nobody expects that somebody in this world still has the balls to stand up for themselves, so of course I end up in the middle of a huge fucking catastrophic brawl. I'm fighting people off me from all sides. I'm throwing bitches left and right. I got guys hanging off me. I'm punching, I'm kicking, I'm scratching, I'm killing. Oh god, it was chaos. I was just like Brody in my intro. Come on, you fuckers think that just because a guy reads comics he can't start some shit? I'll fucking take all you on! You know, it's the same old song and dance with me. Everywhere I go, this happens. I'm used to it, but I'm also getting pretty sick and tired of it. And it's all because some people just can't take a joke. Some people just can't comprehend or wrap their minds around the intricate concept of humor. It's like rocket surgery to some people. You know, it seems like you can't even show up in a Trump hat and start slapping bitches anymore without everybody losing their sense of humor all of a sudden. Well, I apologize if my satire was too highbrow for you Neanderthals to understand, but I thought this was America. Anyways, I'm sure I'll get into the gory, hilarious, awesome details of that story at some other point on some other podcast, but this is not the place for it. This is the place for comics, people. I'm talking about all the wonderful, wacky, wild, and exciting comics that I read this week. And also, I am the Wolfman. Don't forget that. I'm going to quiz you on all of this after the podcast is done. Who is the Wolfman? What are comics for? Who likes them? What country is this, and where's my America? All important questions that you will be graded on. Harshly. One other piece of news that I forgot to mention in the pilot episode of this podcast, in last week's episode, I didn't mention this, wasn't sure if I wanted to mention it, but as I go through and talk about all of these comics, if any of them pique your curiosity, and you want to check them out and you want to read them, there are comic reader websites where people just post them and you can read them for free all over the internet. I guess I'll put one in the description box. Obviously, it's not legal, but you know, who gives a fuck? I use it, and I still buy comics. You know, usually what happens is if I read a comic on there that I like, then I go out and buy it. So I think that sites like these actually drive sales. I think that piracy often has just as much of a beneficial effect to sales as any negative effect that anyone says it has. So if I talk about comics and they sound cool to you, by all means, check them out and then go fucking buy them if you feel like it, or if you don't feel like it, I don't fucking give a shit, man. I don't give a shit. I'm an easygoing guy. Until someone fucks with me, and then I become the motherfucking Wolfman, baby. Ow! 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 I'm just gonna make sounds. Noises. I read Wonder Woman this week. Yeah, how's that for a smooth segue? So this Wonder Woman series is part of DC's whole company-wide rebirth branding thing. And what the rebirth thing is a couple years ago, DC did this big retcon. They called it the New 52. They were trying to simplify their continuity by saying that, like, okay, the whole DC universe now started 5 years ago, and that's the new status quo. But in trying to simplify their continuity for new readers and such, all they actually managed to accomplish was they made it a million times more confusing and complicated and accidentally totally screwed the pooch and ruined everything. Because when you take, 80 years of continuity and try to squish it all into 5 years, suddenly nothing makes any fucking sense. Like, everywhere you would look, there was all this weird shit that you couldn't, like saying that, like, Batman, for example, has only been around for 5 years. That does not work in any way. With all the different Batman stories, You know, the fact alone that there's been like 6 different Robins, you know? Like Dick Grayson has gone from a 12-year-old boy to like a 25-year-old man. And then you had Jason Todd and Tim Drake also growing up into grown-ass men. And then he has this son, Damian, who's like 12 years old, whom he sired with Talia al Ghul when he was still Batman 12 years ago. The very idea of squishing all this continuity into like a 5-year span inherently ruins everything and makes nothing sensical or coherent in any way. And there were so many weird plot holes that arose from this decision, from this rebranding. You know, like the Teen Titans were totally fucked. The Teen Titans are still fucked. Nothing can save the Teen Titans now because of the continuity and how badly it's been fucked. The Teen Titans make no fucking sense, and I don't think they ever will again. Nightwing is in his 20s, but Starfire and Raven are still somehow on the Teen Titans, and still, I'm supposed to believe they're still teenagers, even though Damian's now also in the Teen Titans, and he's like 12. And Cyborg now was never a Teen Titan. He was just a Justice League guy. Like, what's going on? I don't understand any of this shit anymore. None of it makes any sense anymore. So they just totally ruined everything, and it made it really hard to get invested in DC stories for a long time. But the great thing about DC is that at a certain point, they finally looked at all the fan response, and they said, you know what? Yeah, we did kind of fucking ruin everything for a couple years, though. Let's go back and try to fix it. Let's try to smooth things out a bit. So they went back, and basically this rebirth branding thing that they're doing now is kind of like DC's apology to fans. It's their way of saying, all right, we admit it, we fucked up. And they're kind of like slowly reintegrating all of the old continuity that was lost in the New 52 relaunch. So they're, you know, trying to get everything back to basics and get back to the way it was. And getting rid of all the weird, hokey, New 52 bullshit that nobody liked. Like, for example, Wonder Woman and Superman being, like, romantically involved. Which is, like, a weird, like, leftover idea from Frank Miller in the 80s. That he had a boner for, but doesn't really make sense to anyone else, but they did it anyways. Like, what the... Like it kind of ruins both characters to say that, you know, they're this, like... Brangelina power couple lording over the world in their fucking watchtower. I mean, like, the main thing that makes Superman or Wonder Woman relatable and special is that they both date regular people. Like, Superman's girlfriend is Lois Lane. She's just a regular chick. Because Superman is a regular guy. If you take Superman and you have him fucking Wonder Woman, suddenly neither of them are like regular people anymore. They're just larger-than-life gods who are sitting up on Olympus, licking each other's assholes and lording it over the rest of humanity. It's dumb. So anyways, this issue of Wonder Woman starts out with Steve Trevor, Wonder Woman's old boyfriend. Steve Trevor, if you don't know the character, he was the guy who he was like a fighter pilot who first crash-landed on the island of Themyscira and discovered the Amazons and discovered Princess Diana. Not Princess Diana, the one that you're thinking of. Not the young woman who died in the car crash and her Beanie Baby is worth like $50 million. I'm talking about Wonder Woman's name is Diana. She's... So yeah, Steve Trevor is the guy who discovered Wonder Woman, and he's pretty much always been her boyfriend, or her romantic interest, or her best buddy, or her human compadre. He's always been sort of integral to Wonder Woman. So this comic starts out with Steve Trevor, and then a bunch of stuff happens in the middle that I don't understand because I haven't been reading this series, I haven't been keeping up with it. There's some stuff about, like, Diana can't find Themyscira anymore, like it's hidden from her for some reason. She's trying to find her way back to Themyscira, and it's, like, off the map. I have no idea what's going on. I have not been reading this series, I just jumped into issue number 9. But, near the end of the book, there's a scene where Steve Trevor is hanging out on the beach, and Wonder Woman goes and joins him, and they have like a conversation on the beach, and they have this sort of like this come to Jesus meeting, this sort of we used to be boyfriend and girlfriend kind of talk. you know, they have some real talk, and they're talking about, you know, Superman. And he's like, you know, I can't blame you for going out with Superman. I mean, he's fucking Superman, man. And she's like, yeah, but, you know, maybe it was wrong. You know, maybe it was more convenient than it was right. You know, and Wonder Woman kind of goes into this speech about her, you know, motivations for having been with Superman, kind of like retconning some purpose into that weird fucking corporately mandated romance, right? Trying to retcon some, I guess, character motivation into it that makes some semblance of sense. And Wonder Woman is going on this speech, and it's a good speech, and I feel like for once Wonder Woman actually came off like a person with a personality. She usually doesn't for me. She usually doesn't do it for me, but I think it was pretty well written, and they're having this conversation, and yada yada, and bloobity blue, and long story short, they kiss, and so they're back together. So that's what I'm talking about with the Rebirth line, and why it's been so great and so satisfying, is because the entire Rebirth line that DC has been doing all year has basically just been them kind of getting back to basics and saying, yeah, we fucked up, and slowly putting all the puzzle pieces back together the way they belong together, and putting everything as it should be in its right place. You know what it feels like to read these Rebirth stories and see them fixing all of these mistakes and rectifying all of these weird directions that they went on over the last couple of years, because it's been hard to read DC Comics for the last couple of years, ever since the New 52 began. Even good comics, it's been hard to read just because the continuity got so fucked and there were so many weird things going on. So, in order to understand what it feels like to now read these Rebirth comics and see them one by one fixing everything and putting the puzzle pieces back where they belong, or at least back into a shape where they make sense again, it feels so satisfying to see these things, like Wonder Woman kissing Steve Trevor, or, you know, Green Arrow being back together with Black Canary, and they're on an island or some shit, or Superman and Lois Lane having a house and a kid together, and his kid's got superpowers, and he's teaching his kid how to be superpowers guy. It's so fucking satisfying. It feels like all's right with the world, like God's in his heaven, Superman is fucking Lois Lane, and all's right with the world. I read it and I feel warm inside. I feel like I can feel electricity in my blood, and I can feel endorphins shooting off into my brain and making me feel safe and secure again in a way that I haven't felt since I was a child. I can feel the pages of the comic growing larger and enveloping me like a warm blanket of security. And it's like I'm just melting into it. My body is breaking down and I'm melting into the pages. I'm becoming part of the comic. I'm seeing my world in ink and color and separated into panels. I'm being drawn into a realm of pure imagination, a realm of comics, just like the Sega Genesis game, Comics Zone. I'm becoming one with the comics, and I'm soaring through a vast and beautiful universe like the Silver Surfer. I'm seeing colorful nebulas and Technicolor, you know, different galaxies and star systems. Becoming one with the hopes and dreams of all good little comic boys and comic girls out there. I've obtained the power cosmic like the Silver Surfer, only it's even more powerful than the power cosmic because it's the power comic. I'm surfing through the galaxy on a board of the power comic. A storyboard, if you will. Ha 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 ha! That's me sucking my stogie because I made a brilliant play on words. You know what it's like? It's like the video game Rez for PS2, where you're like a wireframe guy and you're flying through this like crazy techno cyber spacescape, and it's like a shmup. It's like Rez. I've become Rez. And I'm seeing all of these beautiful, heartwarming images flashing before my eyes as I soar through a beautiful, brilliant galaxy of colors and shapes and memories and feelings. Witnessing all of these pieces fall back into place the way they belong. All of these puzzle pieces coming back together to form a cohesive picture once again in my mind. And I'm hearing Tom York from Radiohead crooning like an angel. Everything its right place. That song is playing. Look up Everything in Its Right Place by Radiohead, because that's the soundtrack of this journey into mystery that my soul, my essence, is undertaking through the universe. Yesterday I woke up sucking a lemon. Yesterday I woke up sucking a lemon. Yesterday I woke up sucking a lemon. That's what it's like. Feels good, man. Anyways, it was pretty good. And I don't even like Wonder Woman that much, so you know, that's good. The next comic I read was fucking, fuck. Suddenly it's really fucking hot in here. Oh my god. Oh god, get the sweater off me. Oh god! Ugh. I'm done. I'm taking a nap. Going to bed. Finish it later. The next comic I read, which is probably the most high-profile comic that came out this week, was Civil War II #6. And let me tell you, this comic can go fuck itself. This is a piece of shit. It's a pile of fuck. I don't respect it. I don't respect it, the fact that it exists. And it's not even a bad comic. It's fun. I get it. I get why comics like these sell. Because it's all the superheroes in one book. And I guess to normies who have not seen that every year, who are not sick of it. Because normies do not have this event fatigue that comic book fans get. That's why these event comics continue to sell. Because if you don't read comics regularly, then of course you want to see all of the superheroes fighting each other in a comic. But when it's every single year you're reading comics, and every fucking year Marvel has some new goofy gimmick event comic, and it's always some new ridiculous conflict of characters acting out of character and you know, personalities being stretched so far in order to meet this corporately mandated battle where we have to have side A beat up side B and vice versa, to the point where the characters aren't even acting rationally like themselves anymore. And the stories don't make any sense, and they just bleed into all the other comics and stick their dicks into every other story currently going on, and nothing can make sense anymore. No storyline gets a chance to breathe on its own. No comic gets a chance to breathe or stretch its wings and see what it can do with its own universe and its own storylines and its own characters. Character development is thrown out the window all across the board. It's all swept away once a year to make way for some huge, goofy, clusterfuck event comic that's usually bloated and takes like fucking half the year to come out with 50 fucking tie-in issues. God damn it, I hate these fucking event comics! I cursed them! I'm sick of them! Oh god. You know, you've got DC over here with its rebirth shit. And, like, yeah, you could make the argument that it's kind of taking things back to the status quo, but not really. It's not getting rid of character development or anything like that. It's not putting things back exactly how they were. It's just putting things back in a way that fucking makes sense. It's putting the characters, it's making them like themselves again, making them recognizable again. It's not getting rid of any character development, but these fucking Marvel events every year. Holy shit. Marvel is all about the illusion of change. You know, every year we're gonna shake up the Marvel Universe with some crazy new gimmick. The fallout from this event is gonna be so catastrophic and universe changing, nothing will ever be the same again. They say that every fucking year, and it's always bullshit. It's like they think they're shaking up the status quo, but there's no status quo to shake up anymore. The events are the status quo, because every fucking year there's an entire year of like weird fallout and goofy gimmicks that don't make any sense. And then by the time anything starts to make sense again, by the time the stories start getting back on their feet, then by that time it's time for the next year's stupid event that's going to shake things up in some other ridiculous way. Oh, this year fucking the X-Men are outlaws, and mutants are endangered, and then the next year mutants are not endangered, but then the next year they are again, and then this year there's a registration act, and then the next year Norman Osborn is in charge of the government, so the maniacs are running the asylum, and then the next year there's Skrulls. Some people are Skrulls in disguise, and it's a whole, you gotta figure out who the bad guys are, you can't trust anybody, and then the next year Peter Parker is now a fucking billionaire on the level of Tony Stark, genius inventor, for some fucking reason, and then the next year you've got fucking, fuck! Enough already! Nobody can keep up with this shit. It's all goofy. It's fucking retarded. Civil War 2? Are you fucking kidding me? Who asked for that? Who wanted it? Oh, because they made a Civil War movie, they've gotta fucking have a comic that says Civil War on the shelves so normies will buy it. So they had to concoct this ridiculous Civil War 2 story, which is even more nonsensical and retarded than the first one was 10 years ago. Somehow, it's even more ridiculous. You know, by the grace of God, the Captain America movie, Civil War, fixed the Civil War comic story, which was a fucking retarded comic book story that everybody hated because it didn't make any fucking sense. Oh God, I hate it! Oh God! So the story of Civil War 2 is that there's this Inhuman. The Inhumans are a group of fucking assholes who live on the moon. I don't even want to fucking get into them because I fucking hate the Inhumans. They're the worst thing ever created, but they fucking unleashed a poisonous gas cloud on Earth and it's making more people into Inhumans. So more people are getting Inhuman powers. And there's this fucking kid named Ulysses, and he gets these precog powers where he can tell the future. And so since he can tell the future, he has visions of these horrible catastrophes, right? So all the superheroes get in a room and they go, what are we gonna do about this kid's visions of the horrible catastrophes? And fucking half the people are led by Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, who says, oh, we should use the kid to stop crimes before they happen. And then half the guys are led by Tony Stark, Iron Man, and he says, no, that's crazy. Haven't you idiots ever seen Minority Report? And Carol says, no, I haven't seen Minority Report. I've never seen this trope before, and therefore I'm a fucking moron, and I think it's a good idea. So fucking I'm so sorry, not Miss Marvel. She's not Miss Marvel anymore, she's Captain Marvel now. You can't call her Miss Marvel, it's regressive. the little brown girl is Miss Marvel. She can be called Miss, because at least she's brown. At least in some way she's inclusive and diverse. You can't have a white girl. You can't call women Miss. So Miss Marvel is now Captain Marvel. Oh, God. So Captain Marvel takes a bunch of guys. She takes War Machine and She-Hulk. She assembles a team, and she goes to fight Thanos. Thanos or Thanos? I feel like Thanos sounds better. She goes to fight Thanos because the fucking Ulysses kid had a vision that Thanos was gonna beat everyone up really bad. So she goes to Thanos, she finds him in his fucking house and starts a fight, and what do you know? Thanos beats everyone up really bad. She just barges into his fucking place. He's minding his own business, and he's sitting in his best chair, and she busts through the wall like the fucking Kool-Aid Man with War Machine and She-Hulk and starts a fucking fight. So yeah, the kid's vision came true, but only because she fucking, and that's how the trope works, right? That's how this trope always ends up. Seeing the future is what locks the future, because they see it, and by trying to avoid it, they cause it to happen. That's like the plot of every That's So Raven episode. How has nobody in the Marvel Universe ever seen an episode of That's So Raven? So that's basically what the Civil War II divide is about. It's about the superheroes who have seen That's So Raven versus the superheroes who haven't seen That's So Raven and don't know how this fucking trope works. So Thanos kicks everyone's ass. War Machine is fucking dead. She-Hulk is in, critical condition. So Tony Stark is so fucking pissed off that his best buddy Rhodey died in this ill-conceived cockamamie precog battle idea that he basically says, fuck you, Carol, we're fighting now. Everyone's fighting. Meanwhile, Carol also has to go and find Bruce Banner and tell him that his cousin She-Hulk is in critical condition because of her. And nobody wants that job, because if Bruce Banner gets mad, if he finds out that we fucked up so bad and got his cousin hurt, he's gonna Hulk out, he's gonna throw a big fit, right? Even though Bruce Banner has actually been cured of the Hulk in continuity for like a year, they're still paranoid about it because they're a bunch of fucking idiots. So they're going to confront the Hulk and tell him, you know, what's going on. But then also, the Ulysses kid has another fucking premonition. And he has a premonition that the Hulk is going to kill everyone. So here's what Carol does. Because the only way that this story can even happen is by making one of the characters a complete retard. So they made Captain Marvel a complete fucking retard. Everything that she does in this series defies all logic and rationale. It's all completely insane. Her actions are the actions of a fucking madman, and it's baffling that anyone would even take her side at all. So the situation is that they have to go tell Bruce Banner that they got She-Hulk nearly killed, and they have a vision that says the Hulk is going to fucking kill everyone. And they already know from the first vision that trying to prevent the visions is exactly what makes the visions happen. So you'd think the answer is pretty fucking clear. Leave Bruce Banner the fuck alone. Instead, Captain Marvel shows up on his doorstep with like an entire army of pissed off superheroes behind her, ready to like intimidate Bruce Banner into coming with them quietly. What the fuck? You don't intimidate Bruce fucking Banner. You don't even try that. That's a goofy idea. So they're basically antagonizing Bruce Banner into becoming the Hulk. And he's saying, what are you fucking people talking about? I haven't been the Hulk in like a year, okay? I haven't had, you know, a Hulk episode in a while. I'm totally okay. You're telling me that you got She-Hulk all fucked up for no reason. Clearly I'm pissed off, but as you can see, I'm not hulking out. So why do you have a bunch of people here trying to intimidate me? So they have this fucking, you know, conflict, and long story short, they're so worried, they're so paranoid that Bruce is gonna Hulk out and kill everyone, that Hawkeye, who is sitting over in a tree, lets loose an arrow, whip, and, you know, shoots Bruce in the head, and Bruce Banner's dead. They kill Bruce Banner. So then there's a whole big thing, it's like the trial of Hawkeye, you know, trying to, you know, and Hawkeye reveals that Bruce requested him to kill him if he ever was going to Hulk out again, and Hawkeye says that, hey, in good faith, I'm Hawkeye, I have better eyes than you, I saw a little flick of green in his eyes, I thought he was going to become the Hulk, you know? I had no choice. He told me if he ever became the Hulk again to fucking kill him, so I did what he asked. So, you know, it's a whole big trial, and Hawkeye is found innocent, I think. I'm a little hazy, I'm pretty sure he's found innocent, but you know, that's not the point. Fuck, what else fucking happened in this godforsaken story? Anyways, because of everything that's fucking happened, Tony Stark and Captain Marvel fucking hate each other. And yeah, and it's Civil War 2. So all the superheroes are gonna fucking fight each other again over stupid bullshit. And the conflict is so stupid because, like, in the first issue, Captain Marvel's side is proven to be objectively wrong, right? Like, she gets the precog, she gets the vision of, like, Thanos beating everyone up, so she goes to attack Thanos and gets beat up by Thanos. In the first issue, the dilemma is fucking solved. Well, okay, now we know that this is That's So Raven rules. We know that if we fucking try to prevent these visions, they're just gonna be forced into fruition. We're going to make them come to pass by trying to prevent them. That's how time travel stories always work. Have you never seen a fucking time travel story in your life? Holy shit! It literally happens in the first issue. Like, the dilemma is over, the problem is solved, the issue is complete. Nobody would be insane enough to still be on her side after the very first vision that they saw proved that her side was fucking retarded. Beyond a shadow of a doubt. Like, it's one thing where it's like, in the first Civil War where people can argue both sides. Like, you know, some people read Civil War 1 or they watch the Civil War movie and they're legitimately on Tony Stark's side with the Registration Act. Some people watch it and they're legitimately on Cap's side. I can't imagine anyone being on Carol's side in Civil War 2 because the story itself goes out of its way to expressly show that her side is objectively fucking wrong. Holy shit! This is fucking terrible! So anyways, it's Civil War II, and all the superheroes are fighting each other, and eventually the kid gets another fucking vision, and this time his vision is of Miles Morales, who is the little black Mexican Spider-Man. There's 2 Spider-Men now. I don't know why he couldn't have just had, like, his own name. But he has a vision of little baby Spider-Man killing Captain America. And that fucking sends everyone into panic mode. And so that's where this issue starts off, with them dealing from the fallout of this new vision that they've had of Miles Morales killing Captain America. And it's really stupid. And it's really fucking shit. It's shit. God damn it. God fucking damn it. I hate event comics. I'm so sick of this shit. I'm so sick of Marvel's bullshit every year with this shit. Oh my god. I need tea! So they get this vision that Spider-Man's gonna kill Captain America, and so everyone's freaking out, and, you know, Carol is doing her fucking Minority Report bullshit. She's like, okay, Spider-Man, you're gonna come quietly, we're gonna arrest you. This is like a 15-year-old kid, so, you know, she's basically gone full supervillain at this point. She's arresting children on account of some fuckboy Inhuman's goofy nightmares. So she's about to, you know, beat up Spider-Man and arrest him and all that. But then Captain America's like, Carol, shut the fuck up. Sit the fuck down, you crazy-ass bitch. And Miss Marvel, remember, Captain Marvel used to be Miss Marvel, but she bestowed the name Miss Marvel onto Kamala Khan, who is a teenager, and so she is Miss Marvel, and she was like Captain Marvel's protege, right? Captain Marvel gave her the name Miss Marvel. Captain Marvel is about to you know, arrest little Spidey, but then little Marvel, Miss Marvel, she grabs her with her giant hand. She can stretch her body, so she's got a giant hand sometimes. She grabs her with a giant hand. She says, "Fuck you! This is crazy. You've gone bad, man." So, you know, Miss Marvel, and so they all jump ship, all the little teeny bopper Avengers jump ship to Iron Man's side, and Captain America has a talk with Spider-Man. He says, okay, son, don't freak out. And then Thor, not the real Thor, the fucking woman Thor, Jane Foster, she flies little Spider-Man out there. God, none of these fucking superheroes are even the actual superheroes anymore. Every fucking character's name that you talk about when you talk about Marvel, you have to put an asterisk next to every fucking thing that you say. It makes everything you're saying take 10 times longer because you have to add the caveat of, and then Spider-Man, not Peter Parker, the little Spider-Man, the black Mexican Spider-Man, does this, and then Thor takes him and flies away. Not the real Thor that you know. I'm talking about the girl Thor, the Jane Foster. She used to be Thor's girlfriend. She had cancer, and now she's Thor because he lost his hammer, because Nick Fury whispered a secret into his ear that made him unworthy of Mjolnir. So now fucking blah, 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 blah. And then Miss Marvel grabbed Captain Marvel because Miss Marvel is the Miss Marvel. She's not, because Captain Marvel used to be Miss Marvel. And god damn it, Marvel! I fucking hate you! Fuck! Just give these characters their own fucking names! If you want to be diverse, then create new superheroes! Don't fucking co-opt names of superheroes that already fucking exist! Nobody needs 2 Spider-Mans swinging around! It's fucking confusing! You piece of shit! I hate you, Marvel! I fucking hate them! So Captain Marvel is off on some S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier, sulking like a little whiny baby because her crazy, weird, evil supervillain plans are falling through, and everyone on her side is abandoning her cause. Black Panther abandons her side, and he goes and joins Captain America's side. Black Panther has one of the goofiest lines I've ever seen in this comic, where he's saying, "I'm sorry, Carol, I can't be on your side of this conflict anymore because you know, when you're on the opposite side of Steve Rogers, you're usually in the wrong. Captain America is usually a pretty moral guy, so when it comes to moral issues, I usually want to be on the side of Captain America. Well, motherfucker, if that's how you feel, then why weren't you on his side from the beginning? What the fuck kind of a revelation is that? It's not like he saw the carnage or saw what was going on and said, you know what? I'm starting to think that maybe Carol's ideas about this whole precog, preemptive justice thing, I think maybe she's going off the deep end. It wasn't like he slowly saw what was happening and came to acknowledge this. He just suddenly remembered, oh yeah, Captain America's on the other team. Well, he's usually right. How could I forget? What the fuck? Ah! And then at the end, fucking little Spider-Man goes to the fucking Capitol steps of Washington and he stands there or some shit. I don't fucking know. Oh, fuck, this is terrible. This is so fucking bad. Why do they do this? I'm looking at these pages right now, and every time I keep remembering other things about this comic that are so fucking weird. Like, at this point, the only people still on Captain Marvel's side are Storm, for some fucking reason, Jean Grey, not the real Jean Grey, not the original Jean Grey, the new Jean Grey, who is actually the younger Jean Grey from the past, transplanted into the present from Beast because he made a time machine to bring the original young baby X-Men to the present to teach Scott Summers a lesson because the X-Men were fugitives for a while because of all the fallout from one of their big stupid events, Avengers vs. X-Men in 2011. So Beast hated Cyclops and he had some weird goofy plan that somehow bringing Jean Grey as a teenager back into the present would... Oh, Jesus! So she's got fucking teenage Jean Grey there on her side. She's got Storm there, who Storm has a fucking mohawk because she had a mohawk in the 80s, and some jackass at Marvel decided to be retro and bring the mohawk back for some reason, even though it looks fucking goofy as hell. So she's got fucking phony teenage teeny bopper Jean Grey from the 60s. She's got stupid looking mohawk Storm, and she's got the Guardians of the Galaxy on her team. But the Guardians of the Galaxy are so fucked up. That's like okay, Groot's there, Peter Quill's there, and Rocket Raccoon's there. Gamora and Drax, so everybody that you know from the movie. But also, I don't know what the fuck is going on in Marvel. Ben Grimm, the Thing, is now part of the Guardians of the Galaxy. Shadowcat is there. Kitty Pryde from the X-Men. What's going on? I don't know what's happening with the Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't know why fucking Kitty Pryde and Ben Grimm are currently on that team, but they are. And so that's basically all the people who are left on Captain Marvel's insane supervillain team. The Guardians of the Galaxy featuring Ben Grimm and Kitty Pryde, stupid-looking idiot Mohawk Storm from the 80s, and stupid-looking teeny bopper bitch face mind rapes people without permission and turns them gay Jean Grey from the 1960s. Jean Gay should be her name because that's all she does. She's an evil little girl. She turns people gay. As the great philosopher me once said, "You so gay, you're making me gay." Why is Kitty Pryde in the Guardians? Why is she one of the Guardians of the Galaxy? What is happening? You know, there's this weird panel here where Carol is sulking because nobody wants to be on her fucking supervillain crew anymore. And fucking Peter Quill comes up behind her and he says, "You know what, fuck them, you're right. You're absolutely right about this whole thing. If you can prevent anything bad from happening, then you have to try to do it. You have to do everything you can to prevent disasters and tragedies from happening." Well, you know, that's a great speech there, Star-Lord, except for the fact that she's causing the things to happen. Trying to change the bad things is causing the bad things to happen. This was established in the first issue. So why the fuck did this conflict even make it to 6 issues? It should have been over at the first issue. You're all crazy. You're all idiots. You're all out of character, fucking badly written fanfic idiots. Oh God. You know, these are beloved characters. Everybody loves Star-Lord. Why is he suddenly a fucking idiot? Why is he on this team of supervillains? Why are any of these beloved characters on this team of supervillains? Why is Carol a fucking supervillain? Okay? They're gonna have a fucking Captain Marvel movie in a couple years. They're gonna want to push Captain Marvel as a hero. They're gonna want everyone to fucking love her, right? So why are they making her a fucking crazy tyrant who arrests people for future crimes? You know, Marvel's all about fucking diversity. Everyone's all about, we need female superheroes. There's not enough female superheroes for little girls to look up to. So we gotta make a Captain Marvel movie. Hey, little girls. Do you want to be like Captain Marvel when you grow up? Remember that she's a fucking tyrant who arrests children for future crimes that they haven't committed yet. Wow, what an inspiring superhero for little girls to emulate. Thank God we have all this diversity now so that we can have female superheroes and then ruin them with terrible comic book stories that make no sense and make them seem like irredeemable monsters and idiots. Holy shit! And I could almost understand why Captain Marvel would feel this way about it and want to be, Miss Government and arrest people for future crimes, because she does come from like a militaristic background. She was like an Air Force military lady. But fucking Star-Lord, Star-Lord, he's basically Han Solo. He's a galactic scamp, a space pirate, a scoundrel, a scruffy nerf herder, a fucking rogue. He's a guy in a goofy red jacket and a weird-looking bug mask who flies around the galaxy fucking green alien girls and who defeats supervillains by dancing like an idiot to 70s funk pop. It makes no sense for him to be on Captain Marvel's side here. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's some aspect of his personality that I don't know about because I haven't read enough Guardians of the Galaxy comics. I've only seen the movie. Something that sets some kind of precedence for why he would be down to clown with this insane fascist ideology of arresting people for future crimes, which seems to go against, like, the very basis of the character. I don't know. But personally, I don't fucking buy it. Imagine the movies trying to get away with this shit. Like turning all of these beloved characters and superheroes into a bunch of bumbling fascists, as though the audience is still somehow supposed to find these characters likable. Like imagine that this is Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Star-Lord is going around with Captain Marvel busting into people's houses and arresting them for future crimes. Try and put a Jackson 5 soundtrack to that shit. See how fucking heartwarming it is. A fucking montage of Star-Lord breaking into people's houses and swatting people. ABC, it's easy as 1, 2, 3. As Batista's powerbombing your fucking grandma through a coffee table because she might shoplift at some point in the future. She might be at the self-checkout and forget to pay for an apple. So we gotta fucking Groot stomp that bitch in the spine. Grandma can't get away with it again. This is a job for the Guardians of the Galaxy. Candy girl, you are my world. God, every fucking Jackson 5 song is the same. I'm just picturing this movie now of just non-stop, horrible, brutal, fascist violence. It's all in black and white like Schindler's List, but still set to the soundtrack of the first movie. I hooked on a feeling. It's just like a slow motion nightmare of the Guardians of the Galaxy busting into a kindergarten class and shooting up the place because they got a vision that one of the kids might push another one of the kids off a swing set at the playground. So the Guardians of the Galaxy are bursting into a kindergarten classroom and just shooting up the place. You know, the hot, kindly teacher in her early 20s. Rocket Raccoon puts a fucking bullet in her head. Drax is Batista bombing kids. All these kids are getting mangled and crippled and killed. Massive bloodshed. And once again, the day is saved, thanks to the Guardians of the Galaxy. Fuck this comic. Okay, god damn. I think that's enough Civil War II talk. Christ, this podcast is going long. I definitely do not intend for every panel cast to go this long. Because, Jesus, it's been fucking 2 days I've been recording this now. What's next? I still have a couple more comics I want to get to that were cool this week. Fucking, okay. So the next comic that I read this week, I'm fucking sliding all over the place in this fucking chair. Why do they make chairs with wheels on them? What is the point of this? What? God, Jesus. Oh, Lord, help me, Jesus. I'm tipping over. I'm tipping. Come on. Fuck it. Okay. And I wonder why these things go long. Okay, the next comic that I read was Miss Marvel number 12. And this was actually this was a good comic. This was a nice little heartwarming, a good, decent little kind of one-shot in the midst of this, you know, epic retardation of Civil War II that is sort of fucking up every other comic on the stands. In the midst of all that, there is still room for, you know, little character stories having to do with it, you know, branching out from this conflict that in and of themselves are decent. So, Miss Marvel. This character is another relatively new character. She's only been around for a couple of years. Kamala Khan was a little Pakistani teenager living in New Jersey, and she got superpowers, and her hero was Miss Marvel, and she idolized all the superheroes, but particularly Captain Marvel. So Captain Marvel said, "You can call yourself Miss Marvel. I'll give you the name." She earned the name Miss Marvel, and so her role in the Marvel Universe is sort of like the forefront of the next generation of superheroes, even though the problem with that is that the next generation of superheroes will never be the current generation of superheroes. So they're kind of an eternally unfulfilled promise because of the way that comics are. You know, Spider-Man and Iron Man and Captain America and the main guard, they're always going to be around. So when you have characters like this whose purpose is that they're the younger generation of superheroes, it's kind of an inherently unfulfilling idea because it's never really going to come to fruition. No matter how much time passes, they're always going to be the younger generation of superheroes. You know, that's how you end up with a Teen Titans situation where nobody knows what to do with, like, Beast Boy and Raven and Starfire. So now they've been around for, like, fucking 80 years, but somehow they're still teenagers because, you know, they get stuck in that next generation teenager hole. And not the kind of teenager hole I like. Okay, never mind. Miss Marvel was among the first of Marvel's, you know, big diversity push. She's a little brown girl. She's Pakistani American. She's ethnic. You know, I've already complained a bunch about Marvel's weird diversity shit, but out of all those characters, out of, you know, the female Thor and the little black Spider-Man and all that garbage, Miss Marvel, I think, has been one of the more successful ones. She's one of the few of that type of character that has succeeded in being her own character and feeling like she has an actual personality and a reason for being. And she's popular. People like her. Her and X-23, who's currently Wolverine, those are the only two, I think, of the diversity Avengers that have been well received, that seem like they are actual characters with their own stories and their own... You get what I'm saying. So the story of Miss Marvel number 12 is that this whole Civil War II event thing has been going on, and all of its ramifications are ruining everything. Miss Marvel has lost faith in her idol, Captain Marvel, because she sees that Carol is turning into a fascist lunatic with this precog shit. So she says, fuck you to Captain Marvel. She strikes out on her own, and also she's feeling bad and down in the dumps because her best buddy, whose name I forget, Buddy Buddison is his name, is in the hospital. He got hurt in some superhero battle. He goes, I don't want to hang out with you. We can't be friends anymore because I'm sick of getting sucked up into your superhero bullshit or something like that. I don't know. But basically, she's feeling real down in the dumps right now. She's taking her lumps right now. She's turned her back on her idol, Captain Marvel. Her best friend don't want her no more. She's got nowhere to go. She's feeling lost. She's feeling vulnerable. So this issue is sort of like a little one-shot finding herself issue. She's traveling abroad. She's trying to find the real America in Pakistan. She's getting on a little plane, and she's going to her ancestral home of Pakistan all by herself. She's going to spend a few weeks hanging out with her grandma and her extended family and just try to find herself. Gotta find the real America, man. You know, that's the problem with all of these event comics. All of these superheroes, you know, the Civil Wars, the Avengers versus X-Men, all of these goofy, manufactured conflicts, it just comes off like all of these superheroes and beloved characters have forgotten the face of their fathers and lost sight of the real America. And I want it back. We gotta bring the real America back to comics. That's my platform. That's what I'm running on when I run for president in a decade or so, or a couple decades, when I'm old enough, when I'm fucking 89 years old. That seems to be the minimum age for a presidential candidate in this country. Make comics great again, find the real America, put it back in my comics. So Kamala's going through the airport. She's having a shitty time. You know, she's getting hassled by airport security. She's looking all glum. She's looking all sad. She gets to Pakistan. She meets her family, and it's so heartwarming, you know, seeing this reunion with all of her extended relatives and stuff. I mean, we, the reader, we've never seen these characters before. We don't know these characters. We're being introduced to them, but it effectively feels like a sort of homecoming. Like, oh, I haven't been in Pakistan since I was a little girl, and I'm back, and I'm with my grandma. My abuela. That's a Pakistani word, right? Abuela? And it's a really great little character story because as she's hanging out here in Pakistan and she's trying to get her head straight and ruminating on all of this, you know, tragic stuff that's been happening around her with all of the superheroes in America fighting each other, it's really going into like her character and her personality and her unique little struggles. And she talks a little bit about like when she's confiding with her abuela and she says, in New Jersey, I always feel like I'm a foreigner, but here in Pakistan, I feel like I'm too American. So she's got that whole, you know, ethnic American, caught between two worlds thing. You know, I can sympathize because I myself have always felt caught between two worlds because of my ethnicity. I'm half Irish and half French Canadian. So part of me just wants to feel white, but the other part of me just wants to feel really white. And I feel like I don't belong anywhere. If only I had some of that minority privilege that the blacks are always lording over me. Oh, look at me. I'm black. I feel like I belong to a community. You don't know how good you have it. We whites are alone, damn it. We're cast into the world, derelict, and without a place to truly call our own. There's no white superheroes anymore. There's no representation for my people. There's nowhere for us in today's America. And that's why we gotta find the real America. That's why we gotta make it great again. That's why I'm voting for Trump. Okay. The next comic I read, oh, Jesus. Ugh. I took another break and I ate a shitload of ramen. I ate so much fucking ramen. The most ramen that's ever been put into a growing boy in the history of the world. Oh, God. Let me lay down. I need to lay down on the couch. This. Oh, Jesus. Oh, I just... I recently discovered that my microphone, the cord on my microphone is long enough that it can reach to my couch and also my mattress. So this is gonna change my fucking life, people. This, I can already tell, this is a revolution in podcasting technology right here. You know, I'm sorry, I can't bring the pop filter over here, so there might be a little bit of, you know, that going on. But aside from that, this feels good. I could definitely get used to this. Oh, God. Oh, there's so much fucking ramen in me. Ooh. Okay. Just a second. Let me fucking get my brain back. It is recording, right? That's the one bad part. I can't see if it's actually recording or not. So everything that I'm saying, I mean, I can't see the computer from here. So for all I know, that I could just be talking into a microphone that's not even... it's not even on right now. Oh, God. What is going on outside? I hear thunder and lightning and motorcycles or some shit. God damn, the wind is howling out there like fucking Sleepy Hollow. It sounds like the sounds of the planet screaming in Final Fantasy VII. I swear to God, I can hear that exact sound effect outside my window. Okay. So, next up is my comic of the week. The best comic of all the comics that came out this week. It is none other than, I'm going to make a drum roll with my feet on the coffee table over here. This is my drum roll. The comic of the week. This is a bad drum roll. The Vision, number 12. Yes, the final issue of what has been a momentous run. A story for the ages. A tour de force! A legend, a saga on par with some of the greats. This has been, like, consistently the most impressive comic coming out recently, and it just finally had its last issue. The story has been wrapped up, and what a story it has been. So if you don't know who the Vision is the Data of the Marvel Universe. He's a robot man who wishes that he could be more like a man. He is the Avengers' resident robot dude. He was created by Ultron. Oh my God. I'm gonna shit my pants. Oh my God. I'm gonna have a baby. A shit baby. Oh! So, the villain of the second Avengers movie, Ultron, the big scary robot guy, in the movie, he was created by Tony Stark. But in the comics, Ultron was created by Hank Pym, the original Ant-Man, one of the founding members of the Avengers. Hank Pym was in the Ant-Man movie, but he was not Ant-Man. Scott Lang was the Ant-Man in the Ant-Man movie because he's the current Ant-Man. The Paul Rudd character was like an apprentice of Hank Pym in the movies. There's little tiny differences in the movies and the comics, but you know, you can wrap your head around them if you really make an effort to, if you read the shit. I don't know if I can, but... So Ultron was created by Hank Pym. He was like the first like real artificial intelligence. But Ultron turned out to be a fucking asshole. He was a petulant, entitled bastard. He wanted to destroy the Avengers, destroy the world. He was a villain. He fought the Avengers a million times. Eventually, Ultron made a robot of his own. This robot would go on to become the Vision. And so, in an ironic twist of fate, Hank Pym creates Ultron, who turns out to be evil. Then Ultron creates the Vision to further his evil agenda, but the Vision turns out to be good. And the Vision joins the Avengers and becomes a superhero, one of the most beloved members of the Avengers, and saved the world 37 times over his career as a superhero, as he often reiterates throughout this series. I am the Vision of the Avengers. I have saved the world 37 times. 37? In a row? The Vision is not totally a robot. He's not technically an android. He is what's called a synthezoid in the Marvel Universe. So I think he's kind of an android, but he does have some human characteristics. His skin is that sort of metallic pink color, but it is skin. He does presumably have a penis, I'm guessing. I mean, he was married to the Scarlet Witch for a number of years, and they did have children, so I'm assuming he's got a dick. Fucking robot dick. Fucking android dong. Give Wanda some of that swinging android dong. 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 Synthezoid wiener. He's more like a sexazoid is what he is. He goes all night. He makes the ladies scream. Ah! So that's who the Vision is and what he's about, basically. He's a peace-loving, philosophical, compassionate, stoic robot guy with an android dong. Personally, the character has never connected with me that well because, it's hard as a reader not to just see him as a robot. I think the movie did a good job of stressing how human he is, but up until that point, it's very easy to play the old Avengers game on Sega Genesis or to see him in a comic and just go, well, yeah, I know Captain America and Iron Man, but who's this? He's just a robot guy, right? I don't get it. It's very easy to not understand the character Vision, and I didn't really understand the character of the Vision for a long time. I mean, like I said, he's basically just the Marvel Universe's version of Data, but there's already a Data in my mind, so there wasn't really enough room to love another android character, I guess. It's already full. I've got Data up there, I've got Android 18, she's a babe. And I think what it really comes down to, the reason why the Vision never impressed me in the past is because he just never had his own series that was good or interesting. He never had any... There never seemed to be any interesting stories about the Vision. He was always just kind of there. He's always just the robot guy in the Avengers. He never came off like a flawed character before. He never came off that three-dimensional. He always just came off to me as, he's stoic and he's calm and he is super powerful and he's just there. My point is, I was a fool. Like so many before me. I was caught up in my own humanity. I was so arrogant about humanity, I could not see the pathos of a robot man. Blinded by the outside, judging a book by the cover. Judging a synthezoid, not by the content of his character, but by the robot-y, the parts of him that are a robot. You whatever, fuck this. Abandon this whole joke. You get what I'm saying. I'm abandoning this bit. Get to the fucking point already. You're yelling at your fucking computer screen. I hear you. So, so what this story has been about It's over now. You can read the whole thing. It's a self-contained. It's 12 issues. It's a complete story. And it's so goddamn good. It really feels like this character, if you didn't appreciate or understand the character before, read this and you'll have a totally new appreciation for the Vision, because he finally has like a defining, quintessential story. You know, like, it's so easy to point to Batman and go, if you want to understand Batman, here's The Dark Knight Returns, or here's The Killing Joke, or here's Year One, or R.I.P., or whatever happened to the Caped Crusader. Or if you want to understand Spider-Man, there's Kraven's Last Hunt, or The Death of the Stacys, or, you know, all these characters, as iconic as they are only iconic because of the strength of their stories. They've all had those definitive runs. Vision has never had one before now, and this story feels like a definitive run for the character. It starts out, the Vision has created a family for himself. Hank Pym created Ultron, Ultron created the Vision, and now the Vision is creating a wife and kids in his own image. He creates a beautiful Vision wife for himself named Virginia. He creates a beautiful Vision son, Vin. He creates a beautiful Vision teenage daughter, Viv. So the Vision has created a family for himself in his quest to become more human and live as a human and understand what it is to live on this planet like the rest of us. So he creates his cool synthezoid family and he moves into a house in the suburbs. And the first issues are just, you know, him and his family, you know, this family of robot people hanging out in the suburbs, getting to know their neighbors and stuff. So the Vision is trying to live with his family in the suburbs and trying to be like a regular person. And of course, it doesn't take long for all of it to go tragically awry. An old supervillain of the Avengers called Grim Reaper attacks the house when Vision is away. And so in self-defense, his wife Virginia kills the Grim Reaper. She murders him. He's dead. And she doesn't know what to do. She's worried that there'll be repercussions or she won't be tried fairly because she's a synthezoid or whatever. So she hides the body and she's trying to keep the secret. And unbeknownst to her, you know, a neighbor saw her do it and filmed her doing it. So now she's got to confront him. Anyways, long story short, all kinds of shit goes wrong. She tries to confront him. The neighbor dies. The neighbor's son dies. It's just every worst possible way that this wonderful little life the Vision is trying to carve out for himself could horribly fall apart in the span of like a couple months. You know, this one unfortunate act of Virginia in self-defense killing the Grim Reaper spirals out of control, and next thing you know, there's a dead kid and a dead neighbor, and it's like, what the fuck is going on? And like the Avengers become suspicious of him, so they send this guy, Victor Mancha, who is sort of like another like Vision synthezoid robot themed hero. I think he's like also an Ultron creation, so maybe he's like the Vision's brother. I don't really know much about that character, but he's like a guy with robot parts. Anyways, they send him to spy on the Vision, and that goes wrong too. So next thing you know, Victor, the Avengers spy who's sent to see what's going on with the Vision, he accidentally kills the Vision's son. So now we've got a fucking dead supervillain, we've got a dead neighbor, we've got a dead kid, and we've got a dead son. The Vision's beautiful synthezoid son, Vin, is dead. And now Vision is so pissed off. He's on a rampage. He's going to fucking, you know, he's going to beat up the Avengers. He's going to find Victor Mancha in his little cell and kill him. He's going to commit a murder because he's grieving and he's angry. You know, it says right there, right in the background of this panel cast, even an android can cry. Right in the upper right corner. Nobody knows the grief and rage of an android and his dog. So the Vision is just kicking everyone's ass. He beats up all the Avengers at once, and he goes to kill this guy in the fucking cell to seek vengeance for the death of his son. And that's where issue 12 begins, with the question of, will the Vision commit this vengeful murder from which there can be no going back? And you know what? I'm not even gonna spoil it, 'cause you gotta read it for yourself. You need to read it for yourself. You need to understand You need to witness this story in all its glory. It's so good. There's so much pathos. It's so fucking well written. It makes you feel for this character in a way that you never would have thought before that you could feel for the Vision. It really fucking grabs you, and you're like, yes, I understand now, Vision. How could I have been so blind to not see how great the Vision is? This is a story that asks the big questions, folks. What is it that really connects us? What is it that truly makes us human? What does it mean to be human? Really? And it really drives home the point that the Vision is more human than he realized. For better or for worse. And that's all I'll say about it. Ain't gonna spoil this one. You should all read it. It's your duty to read it. It's your sworn duty, all of you. I'm giving you a fucking homework assignment. Everyone has to read The Vision. All 12 issues. It's the best fucking comic. It's the best story that I've seen come out in comics in quite a fucking while. A good number of years at least. I can definitely say that for sure. And it's written so well. Like the narration and the dialogue is so rich and heavy. It's not written like a comic book. It's written like literature. It really takes itself seriously, and it handles the telling of this story with all the gravitas that it needs to, and it's really effective. It feels like a hugely important story. It's so non-comic booky. Like, it doesn't feel like the other Marvel comic books. It doesn't feel like a typical, superhero bullshit. It's not bogged down by the stupid event comic. It has nothing to do with Civil War II or any of that bullshit, that corporately mandated cross-company horse shit that infects every fucking comic with these retarded continuity politics. It's self-contained, it's not out of continuity, but it's also not bogged down by the current stuff that's going on. But it definitely is nothing like any of the other, superhero comics that you're gonna read right now. It's not a fucking story about, oh, there's a bad guy and we're gonna go fight him and, punch him in the nose and that's how we'll defeat the bad guy. It's a totally different kind of story. It's just like this character-driven, suspenseful thriller. And it's so down-to-earth and human for a story about a fucking synthezoid with a robot dick. Oh, God, it's so good. Oh, it's the best thing I've ever read in my fucking life. Oh, God. I think laying on this couch is messing my head up. I need to get back to the fucking computer. Ah, shit! Oh, fuck. Anyways, I hope that I've sufficiently sold you all on that without spoiling the last issue. It's it's a 10 out of 10, baby. It's the kind of thing you read it and once you're done reading it, you're like, yeah, that's why I like comics right there, baby. That's what it's all about. You take a character like the Vision, who is like this weird C-list Avenger in a lot of people's eyes, this unrelatable sort of robot guy who's always just there as part of the team, but nobody really cares about him. You take a character like that, and you take your time telling a story about him that, delves into what really makes him tick and sort of touches on these very human things that everyone can relate to. Stuff like family and loss and grief and rage. And you take this character that nobody suspected could have this kind of pathos, and you imbue it. You imbue this captivating, complex characterization into this character that maybe he had all along. It just took the right writer to show us what a great character the Vision could truly be. Vision number 12, people. Comic of the week. Everybody go out and find Vision number 1. Go to the fucking comic readers. I'll link them into the description box. Start with Vision number 1. Read the whole damn series. That's your fucking homework for this week. Everybody go enrich your lives with this piece of fucking literature that ought to be studied in schools for the rest of time. This modern masterpiece. Okay, so I've talked about a lot of comics this week. Some good, some bad. some fantastic. But there's one more comic that I wanted to talk about this week. One more comic that came out that I think is worth a mention. And that comic is motherfucking Wolf Cop #1, baby! Ahoo! I told you I'm the motherfucking Wolfman, baby! Everybody forgot about the Wolfman, but the Wolfman is here to stay. Ahoo! Yeah! Let me tell you people about the Wolf Cop. If you've been following the Ramalama Ding Dong on my Patreon feed, then you probably seen the Wolfman talking about the Wolf Cop. You seen me praising the movie. You seen me doing a review of the movie on my Patreon, and what a fantastical little piece of happenstance right here that the week I happened to see the Wolf Cop movie, there just happens to be a Wolf Cop comic coming out to continue the franchise on this very eve. That's what I call serendipity, baby. That's what I call a Ramalama Ding Dong. Now, in case you don't know, in case you ain't seen the movie, in case you ain't seen the light yet, in case you ain't one of the chosen few enlightened individuals who know the saga of the Wolf Cop, in case you do not know, I will inform you. The Wolf Cop is the Wolfman alter ego of Officer Lou Garou. He is a small-town cop in a spooky town. He gotta fight shape-shifting witches and warlocks all day, every day. But luckily, he happens to have the power of the Wolfman on his side, and when that full moon rises high into the sky, you know it's about to get hairy up in here. Ahoo! The man turns into the Wolfman, and the Wolfman turns, I said the Wolfman turns into the Wolf Cop, daddy. And the Wolf Cop, he kills people, he cuts their faces off with his claws, he rips them into shreds, he rips the entrails out, he feasts on the corpses, he takes his police cruiser and then modifies it into a badass spooky Wolf Cop mobile. And he goes out into the city and he solves crimes and he brutally, viciously murders criminals left and right. And he drinks like a fish. And he smokes cigarettes, and he fucks beautiful women. Wolf Cop is a Trump supporter. He grabs the girlies by the pussy, 'cause he's the motherfucking Wolf Cop, and the Wolf Cop don't take no for an answer, daddy. Oh no, woo! The Wolf Cop is a rapist. Ah, hell yeah. Ah! So Wolf Cop the comic issue #1, it opens up presumably after the movie. Wolf Cop is driving around the road in his police cruiser Wolf Cop mobile with his best buddy. Now right off the bat, this part confused me a little bit because I gotta spoil the movie for you right here. I gotta give a little spoiler right here, and I'm giving you fair warning because Wolf Cop is a masterpiece of film that everybody should see 10 times and commit to memory. Every single frame of that masterpiece should be burned into your memory for all time, baby. But in case you haven't seen it, I'm warning you right now, I gotta spoil the end of the movie just a little bit to tell you what confused me about issue 1 of this comic, okay? So at the end of the movie, it is revealed that Wolf Cop's best buddy is actually a shape-shifting lizard man, and he was one of the bad guys, and Wolf Cop had to kill him. That was a twist in the movie. A movie takes twists and turns that you don't always know about going into it, baby. But I gotta admit, if there was one flaw with the Wolf Cop feature film, it was that I was a little disappointed that his buddy turned out to be a lizard man who had to be killed, because the buddy and the Wolf Cop, they had a wonderful chemistry together that really made the film something special. Their scenes together were funny and charming and wonderful to watch. So I was a little bit disappointed that he turned out to be a bad guy in the end. But anyways, Wolf Cop the comic issue #1, it opens up and Wolf Cop is driving around in his Wolf Cop mobile, and there's his man right there. So I gotta wonder, man, 'cause this don't make no sense. Something here don't add up. How can he be there? How can they still be buddies? How can he still be alive when he was a lizard man at the end of the movie? Wolf Cop had to kill him last time. They did not explain how he is somehow back from the dead, and somehow they are on speaking terms again. Don't get me wrong. I am glad that he is back from the dead and they are buddies again. It warms my heart to see, because because they have a good chemistry. They got a buddy chemistry. I like a buddy movie. I like a road trip buddy movie. I like a road trip buddy wolf cop movie. I am not complaining, but I do hope that at some point over the course of this comic book series, they do explain how this boy came back from the dead and why Wolf Cop, in his infinite wisdom, chose to forgive him for his vile betrayal. The Wolf Man is turning into the Babadook spook a little bit. Sometimes the characters bleed into the other characters, and I turn into Captain Barbossa now. All the characters, they all start from the same voice and they branch out, Miss Turner, and sometimes it gets a little confusing. You best start believing in stupid podcasts, Miss Turner. You're in one. But anyways, back to the Wolfman, baby. Now this is just issue 1, so I can forgive them for a lack of exposition. Clearly they wanted to get right into the nitty-gritty and right into the meat of the story with an action-packed first issue. No time to sit around a diner table and talk about what led to these events. I understand that, but I do hope at some point they explain this glaring plot hole, baby. I'm the fucking Wolfman! Anyways, the issue starts and he with his buddy going on a road trip in the Wolf Cop cruiser. And he going down a road and suddenly a gang of bikers, they come up and they looking for a scramble. They looking for a tussle. They looking for a rumble. They looking for a fight. But of course they picked the wrong time, daddy, because once that moon gets up in the sky, Lou turn into a motherfucking wolf man. And that wolf man ain't just a wolf man, I've been telling you this whole time. He is a wolf cop, daddy. He got a gun. He got a police car. He got boots and a shirt. He got a badge. He got a bad attitude, and he got a lot of whiskey to drink. He gonna drink all the booze you got, and he gonna do it with all the ladies too. He drinking beer and he smoking cigarettes. Do he like to party? The answer is a yes. Now I'm the crazy taxi guy. It's time to pick a car and driver. Wolf Cop, are you ready? Here we go! It's time to check out how you did today. Now let's take a look. A Class D license. I can't believe it. Is that your best? Come back and try again. But anyway, let me tell you what I was telling you before I was interrupted by the crazy taxi man. I was trying to tell you about the adventures of Wolf Cop, baby. Wolf Cop, he come and he fights them, and then he takes those bikers back to where they came from, and it turns out they're working for a scary cannibal man, and the cannibal man is eating people. So Wolf Cop gotta fight the cannibal man now, but it turns out he ain't just no normal man. He got a secret of his own. The cannibal man turned into a giant werepig. I said a werepig, man. And let me tell you, this werepig is even bigger and scarier than the Wolf Cop. How can Wolf Cop defeat an enemy as big and vicious and large and in charge as the cannibal werepig? Quite easily, it turns out. Wolf Cop kicks the crap out of the werepig. He kills him dead real easy. It only takes like 1 or 2 pages, man. So then after Wolf Cop killed a werepig, they done saved all the damsels in distress. They open the door and they save all the pretty girls and they run off to be somewhere better. And Wolf Cop, he's a little bit banged up, but he gonna be okay. Ain't nobody tougher or meaner than the Wolf Cop. And his buddy come up and he say, we did it, now let's get the fuck out of here. What we gonna do now, Wolf Cop? And Wolf Cop says, drink. And the buddy gave him a thumbs up. He said, God damn right, buddy. And that's the end of issue number 1 of the motherfucking Wolf Cop. And I am the Wolf Man, daddy. Ahoo!